What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and happy Friday to you. Here we go with your WWE Bad Blood 2024 predictions. This is probably going to be a pretty short video because there's only 5 matches on the card tomorrow. WWE has been loving these 5-match cards, and I'm not that big of a fan of it. I think 7 is kind of the sweet spot there. I kind of wish AEW pay-per-views had like 2 matches less and WWE had 2 matches more. 5 matches just feels pretty short, but there's going to be a lot going on in these 5 matches, and I'm still very much looking forward to the show tomorrow, which reminds me, please join us tomorrow afternoon. Special start time for this pay-per-view of 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. I believe they're trying to get the show done ahead of the UFC pay-per-view, which is tomorrow night. So we'll be up here tomorrow to watch the show together, and I'm sure we will stick around and give the show a casual review when it's over. Now, I didn't really rack my brain too hard about a lot of these matches. They were pretty easy to predict from my perspective. I've struggled a lot more to predict some of the other shows from AEW and WWE this year. This one felt relatively easy in terms of, me really racking my brain. I didn't spend too much time on any of these matches thinking about who the winners are going to be. So we'll see how my predictions do come tomorrow. Also, I hope you guys enjoy SmackDown tonight. Go home show. Hopefully the show is great and fun, and they lead us right into the pay-per-view tomorrow where there will hopefully be a lot of blood spilled, and there better be some in that main event. But is CM Punk and Drew McIntyre going to main event the show tomorrow? The word is they are not. Word is they are going to open the show, and the Cody and Roman tag team match will close. So it looks like we're going to kick things off tomorrow with some blood in that Hell in the Cell match. But the first match we're going to talk about here is Nia Jax versus Bayley. Nia Jax, of course, defending the WWE Women's Championship, and they've been doing a lot of teasing on television with Tiffany Stratton. I thought the relationship with Nia Jax and Tiffany would continue on a little bit longer before Nia Jax started to abuse her and Tiffany turned the corner, cashed in her briefcase, and beat Nia Jax. They have been pushing the gas with this. Last week on SmackDown, who knows what's going to happen tonight, but last week on SmackDown, Nia Jax kind of grabbed Tiffany by the throat, and she had this very troubled look on her face when it was over. And I feel like all along they've been telling you that Tiffany is going to cash in on Nia Jax. I just wasn't sure if it was going to be this quick. All I know is Nia Jax will not lose the title to Bayley. Bayley will not walk out of Bad Blood tomorrow as the new women's champion. I cannot see that happening. Since we're on title matches, we might as well stay there and predict Rhea Ripley challenging Liv Morgan for the women's championship. Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, is going to be raised in the shark cage above the ring. So they're busting out the old shark cage again. I saw one of these matches. I saw a match with Chyna up in a shark cage. I think it was Owen Hart and Triple H. Many, many moons ago. I was there for that one. It's the only time I've ever seen a shark cage in person. As much as I think Rhea Ripley is dominant, what do you do if she wins the championship? What does she do until WrestleMania? Just tread water? I feel like there's a lot more story to be told and a lot more fun that can be had if Liv Morgan walks out of Bad Blood with the championship. So I think either Dominic can escape the cage somehow. Maybe he's packing a weapon up there and he passes something down to Liv Morgan. And one idea that a lot of fans have brought up, and you guys were mentioning it to me in the chat on Monday, that we could see Raquel Rodriguez come back. Apparently she is set to return. She's been cleared. And if Liv Morgan is going to receive any help at all, that could be a perfect way to keep the belt on Liv Morgan. Have Raquel come down, cost Rhea Ripley the match, and then Ripley can kind of focus on a feud or a program with Raquel that will kill some time, hopefully until the end of the year, maybe around Royal Rumble time, until you can put Rhea Ripley back on track. And the only question now is, will Rhea Ripley go into WrestleMania as champion, or will she win the title at WrestleMania again? We really don't know yet. But I think since the Liv Morgan and Dominic storyline and angle has been going so well, there's really no rush taking the belt off of Liv Morgan. But then again, Rhea Ripley is so dominant, you can't really have Liv beat Rhea Ripley clean. Some fans might be okay with that. I would not be. Raquel Rodriguez getting involved makes a lot more sense. And maybe we'll have Raquel join the Judgment Day. I think she would fit in there. You'd have 2 women in that faction now, and we could have 2 women in the Wyatt Six. as there's been some teases recently with that Lily doll in the Judgment Day's little clubhouse there. And Nikki Cross, as we know, is already in the Wyatt Six. So if Alexa Bliss comes back and joins the Wyatt Six, you've got Alexa and Nikki, who also have history together. And then you've got Raquel and Liv Morgan in Judgment Day. So I'm all about this idea. Whoever the first one to come up with it, kudos to you. But I say Raquel Rodriguez interferes, helps Liv Morgan retain the title, putting Rhea Ripley into a program perhaps with Raquel, and Liv Morgan can maybe concentrate on something else for a while, and then you revisit Rhea Ripley and the World Championship once we get into WrestleMania season, whether she just wins the title back and takes it into WrestleMania to defend, or if she's got to win the Rumble and Chamber to earn herself another title match. But I definitely believe that Rhea Ripley needs to have a major match at WrestleMania. A year ago, I was predicting Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania 41. I don't feel like that's going to happen this year. I think it's going to be Bianca and Jade Cargill. So Rhea Ripley needs something major to do, and I would not rule out Charlotte being a part of that either. So just keep her in mind. But for tomorrow at Bad Blood, I think Liv Morgan is going to retain the championship. Here's one that's a little hard to predict. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Instinctively, I just want to automatically predict Finn Balor to win. That's who I think should win. Makes more sense for him to win. Priest can afford this loss maybe a little bit more than Finn Balor can. This has been a long-running, history and story with these two guys. But the last 2 years, they've been involved with each other in Judgment Day. So Finn Balor, I think he needs one here, man. But are the Terror Twins going to both lose on the same pay-per-view? Potentially in back-to-back matches. I'm wondering if, what they're going to do at Crown Jewel, if there's still going to be another blow-off, because even though Ripley and Morgan have had a couple of matches, Balor and Priest this is just going to be the one. So you would think that given the history between the two, there's no way this is going to be a one-and-done match. So even though it's going to be crazy to see Ripley and Priest potentially lose back-to-back matches, I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Priest is going to lose to Finn Balor somehow, plenty of interference, whatever they want to do. And then maybe you run it back with a stip or something like that in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel, and Priest gets the win back. But for this first encounter, I think you got to give the win to Finn Balor. So I'm going to predict Finn Balor to beat Damian Priest. And to be honest, that's actually the match that I'm the most unsure about. The match that we're going to talk about next is what is likely going to be the main event. But in our hearts, we know what the main event is. We know that the biggest match on the show, the selling point for this pay-per-view, is the Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. But we're not going to talk about that one next. We're going to talk about Cody Rhodes teaming up with Roman Reigns to take on Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. I'm excited for this one because I'm excited to see Cody and Roman's dynamic as teammates. I'm really excited to see Jacob Fatu get in there and mix it up with Roman Reigns. And, we had, Cody already got pinned at Money in the Bank that gave Solo Sikoa the title shot at SummerSlam, correct? So I can't see them going in that same direction. I can't see the WWE champion, the top star in the company, losing again. And I can't see Roman Reigns, the other top star in the company, losing his first match back after WrestleMania. Undefeated for 4 years, and now he's going to lose 2 straight. That ain't happening. So Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns will definitely defeat Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. The only question is here, how many story beats we're going to see in the match itself. Are we going to see dissension? Are we going to see miscommunication? Is Roman Reigns going to accidentally Superman punch Cody Rhodes? Anything like that. We could see that maybe happen, but them able to overcome that and still wind up winning the match. And when you look ahead to War Games, I think all of us were kind of hoping that the War Games match that we would get, we've been wishing this for months, would be the new Bloodline versus the OG Bloodline. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso coming back, and even adding Sami Zayn to the mix. But based on everything going on Raw right now, Jey Uso's the new Intercontinental Champion. Shout out to the blue highlights in that belt. Makes it look 100 times better. And Sami Zayn challenging Gunther for the championship next week on Raw in a match that I think will be ran back at Crown Jewel. It doesn't feel like they're really in position to jump over to SmackDown. They're not laying any groundwork. They're not dropping any hints, nothing like that. So I feel like the War Games match is going to be Cody and Owens and Orton and Roman against the Bloodline. That's what it feels like to me, based on how it's looking right now on SmackDown. So either way, regardless of what the War Games match is going to be, Cody and Roman is winning this one tomorrow. And finally, the main event that apparently is going to open the show tomorrow. So we'll see if that actually happens. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk inside Hell in a Cell on the anniversary of the first ever Hell in the Cell match, October 5th, 1997. Here we are, 27 years later. Both men, in their respective promos over the last few weeks, has told the other that they are going to make them bleed. So if WWE gives us this match blood-free, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm not a violent freak. I don't need to see, crazy amounts of blood. I don't mind the blood in AEW, but I don't need buckets and buckets and pints to be spilled on a weekly basis. I don't need that, but I do need it in certain feuds, especially blood feuds. What's the name of the pay-per-view? Bad Blood. You're putting two guys that hate each other. Definitely going to be the top two in feud of the year. It's either going to be those two or Hangman and Swerve. This is a crazy feud, personal feud, violent feud that's already been bloody a couple of times. There is no way you put these two guys in this Hell in the Cell match and they are not bleeding. I want Triple H to let it all hang out in this match. Let these guys do their thing in there and get creative. It feels like the Hell in the Cell is kind of back. Since the Silver Cell has returned, Edge and Balor had a good one a couple years ago at WrestleMania. But all of those red Hell in the Cell matches were largely ass, aside from like Cody and his pec against Rollins. There's been a couple of good ones, but that red cell and just what the Hell in the Cell has become, this washed, sanitized version of the Hell in the Cell. It looks like a toy now. It's much taller. Looks like it's made out of plastic. It's not dirty and gritty, and violent looking. It's not an intimidating looking structure. It looks like a fucking toy. So I really want Punk and Drew McIntyre to resurrect what used to be so great about Hell in the Cell matches, because we've had some great ones this coming Sunday, by the way. We're going to be watching Bad Blood 2003 here on the channel. Kevin Nash and Triple H. And the Bad Blood after that, the year after, was 04 with Shawn and Triple H. That was a great one. We've had some great Hell in the Cell matches that have gotten very bloody and very violent in the past. I know it's going to be hard to do the same type of stuff you did 20 years ago, but in terms of having blood in this match, you absolutely need to have it. I don't think it's going to offend anybody. If you're under any sort of internal guidelines or PG ratings or whatever, throw that bullshit out the window tomorrow and have some crazy fun. And like I said, get creative. We've seen a lot of great Hell in the Cell matches, and I think for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre to be able to have a match that could hold up to a Shawn and Taker, to a Shawn and Triple H, to a Triple H and Jericho, or any other great Hell in the Cell matches that Triple H or Undertaker or anybody like that had in the past. You guys know better than me. Actually, sound off with your favorite Hell in the Cell matches down in the comments. For this match to be able to hold up with those matches that you guys are talking about below, they have to get creative. CM Punk ain't Eddie Guerrero. CM Punk ain't Shawn Michaels. He's not Kurt Angle. He doesn't have that level of flashiness in his repertoire or athleticism. They're going to have to get creative. I loved that Hell in the Cell match between the Usos and the New Day all those years ago, where they put the kendo sticks through the cage and kind of pinned whoever it was in there and then just beat the shit out of them with other kendo sticks. Like, that was creative. Like, stuff like that. I want to see them get creative. CM Punk lost his bracelet. Drew broke it, took the pieces, shoved him down CM Punk's throat, and then Claymored him in the face. There's got to be a receipt for that, So I just want this match. I don't care who wins. I just want it to be bloody, dramatic, good, and creative. And I want something in this match to set it maybe apart from other Hell in the Cell matches, where you can look at this one and say, that one was special. And that's all I really hope for as a wrestling fan. I think it's important for both of these guys. As long as this feud has been going on, they got to stick this landing for CM Punk, for McIntyre, for everybody. Now, who's going to win? It's got to be Punk. It's got to be Punk. I think they kind of already hinted on that on TV, because before this Hell in the Cell match was made, after Punk beat Drew in the strap match, what did he do? He came out and challenged Gunther. And that's when Drew was like, I don't think so, Sparky. And then we built to this Hell in the Cell match. But if Punk wins this, then I think you should do another repeat of 1997. The winner of that Bad Blood Hell in the Cell match between Shawn and Taker on October 5th in 1997 got the title shot at Survivor Series. And that was the screw job. So maybe you run this back. Maybe you don't necessarily have the stipulation in this match, but after Punk wins, he's granted a title shot, or maybe faces the winner of Sami Zayn and Gunther. And it just depends on what they want to do with Punk and Gunther. You know, on Raw, it's supposed to be Sami Zayn versus Gunther for the championship this Monday. I feel like something's going to happen, and they're going to run it back at Crown Jewel. Or maybe Gunther just straight beats Sami on Raw and then faces Punk at Crown Jewel. But I think Punk versus Gunther might be more fun for Survivor Series. So we'll see if that match winds up happening. But in terms of Punk and McIntyre in the Hell in the Cell, I hope Drew is okay with doing this job here. And that's why I think the match has to be a little bit unique, because Punk beating Drew McIntyre straight up in a fight. Really? Maybe? So I think Punk, in order to beat someone so much bigger and so much stronger than him in Drew McIntyre, that you almost have no choice but to get creative. Remember Halftime Heat? Mick Foley or Mankind won the championship by lowering a forklift onto the Rock? Like something wild. Like get one of your friends, have AJ Lee show up. That would be a good idea. You know, her name's been mentioned. What a great place to bring her back. She crawls out from under the ring and low blows McIntyre. Think of the pop. Think of the pop. She low blows McIntyre right before he's about to put down CM Punk. Punk recovers, GTS's, lays out McIntyre, and then him and AJ make out over McIntyre's bloody body in the middle of the ring. Oh my God. That would be great. Something like that. Have AJ just under the ring the whole time. And then she comes out right at the end and boom, nut shot. Something like that would be awesome. Or maybe AJ is in the back and she's fucking with the buttons and she raises the cell, and then Punk puts McIntyre under the cell and they lower it on him. And they do it, and then he just starts spitting up blood and blah, blah, blah. You know, something like that would just be badass. So I just hope they have some fun. That's my point. But at the end of the day, if Punk is going to win, I think it needs to be with help from his wife or by some sort of extremely creative means. I don't know if I necessarily want to see Punk just put up his dukes and get the better of McIntyre. I think there needs to be a little bit more to it than that if Punk is going to be the one to go over here, and I believe that he will. So I'm going to predict CM Punk to defeat Drew McIntyre in the Hell in the Cell that apparently will open Bad Blood tomorrow. So there you go. Just to recap, I've got Nia Jax beating Bayley. I've got Liv Morgan defeating Rhea Ripley with help from either Raquel Rodriguez or Dominic pulling some sketchy shit in the cage. I've got Finn Balor defeating Damian Priest, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns over Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, and CM Punk, possibly with help from AJ Lee, to defeat Drew McIntyre in the Hell in the Cell. Let me know what you think of these predictions in the comments below, and let me know what your predictions are. And be sure you join us tomorrow for the pay-per-view. We're going to watch it together, and it should be a hoot. I hope you enjoy SmackDown tonight, and I will catch you tomorrow for the pay-per-view. Peace.